how do you make a thing that feels like you made it, even if your name is not attached to it? So can you just tell me like where that comes from?
Yeah.
And how has that impacted you when you first heard that?
Yeah.
And now?
Yeah. So I did between music and film, I kind of was doing photography mostly as a hobby, but I think partially because of my history background and being interested in kind of the world at large and current events, I thought I might want to do photojournalism for half a second. And I applied to and got into this workshop with a bunch of conflict photographers and went to Cambodia and did this like 2-week thing where we developed a photo essay kind of under the mentorship of a conflict photographer. And he was the one who, after a couple of weeks, and they would print out the photos at the end of each day of working. And then you would because he was helping you do layouts. And so at one point he spread out my photos in the mix of all the other students' photos, like on this big table. And he was like, your entire goal in your career is that if like all your stuff was in this big pile, that I would be able to, or someone would be able to kind of go, that one's Ryan, that one's Ryan, that one's Ryan. That having a sense of authorship to the things that you make, that people will, that they can pick it out even if they don't know specifically that you made it. And I feel like that I obviously don't do photography professionally, but that has always really stuck with me. I love it when I'll make a commercial and I'll get a text message from somebody be like, did you work on this? I'll be like, yes, I did. That always is like a marker of success for a project for me, is that if people feel like I made it, even if they don't know that I did. So yeah. And too, I mean, I feel like that was a big, because I started as a DP and then moved into directing, and like, especially in film, one of my big fears moving from DPing to directing was like, am I just further away from the actual source of creation, which is the camera?
Right.
And how am I going to have a sense of authorship over the things that I'm making if I'm getting further and further away from the camera? And so that kind of, that phrase that Gary told me back in the day, has continued to stay in my mind, which is, keeping that front of mind.